Bartlett Committee meeting for November 19, 2019. I call this meeting to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Kammer?
Here.
Carbonaro?
Here.
DEYNE?
Present.
Gabrenya? Here. Hopkins? Here. Ranky, absent. President Wallace.
Here. The first item on our Committee of the Whole meeting this evening is Finance and Golf. Chairman DEYNE.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight we'll be discussing the general capital improvement program for 2020 through 2024. Todd, you're going to take this for us,
Thank you, Chairman DEYNE.
capital budget.
Yes, this is the proposed capital budget. This is the five-year capital plan, major projects that, once it's approved, then it gets rolled into our operating budget, the first year of the capital budget. So the first screen may look a little funny right here. I'm going to try to make it easier for you guys to follow along in the capital budget. This is just a screenshot of what happens when you hit the menu. And then I'm going to skip around a lot. So you hit the menu, and then if you hit this tile button right there, it will take you to all the tiles, and then you can scroll to the page that I'm going to skip around a little bit. So if you can pull up the menu on your iPad, hit that tile button, and then you can just scroll down quicker, find the page we're looking at.
Is there a way to flip the screen, do you know, so that when you...
I think that if you, I'm not sure, I have mine on lock so that it does not flip back and forth. So is yours on landscape when you've got it? So anyway, I can't help you with that one.
You can come do it for you.
Here you go.
I mean, just turn it, yeah?
What button?
The whole thing turned.
Turn your iPad.
Does anybody else have this issue?
That's what you, that's okay though. So you want to, first we want to click on page 8. We're going to go to page 8.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
In your board packet, page 8, it's also labeled as T1 for Table 1. This shows the 5 years of the capital improvement plans. The first year is the estimated current year that we're in, 2019 to 2020. I'll just wait a minute.
What page are you on, Todd?
I am on page 8 of the board packet, so tile number 8.
8?
Thank you.
Yep, number 8.
I don't need to flip it. We've all read this, and it's so exciting.
So page 8 is just a brief summary of the 5 years. It shows, again, 2019 to 2020 is the estimated the current year that we're in. 2020, 2021, that's the $15,703,000. That's the year that we're looking to approve to roll into the next operating budget year.
You know what was going on?
And the total, the 5-year total,
I like it this
I'm going to zoom in on that, $98,404. So that's the total of the 5-year capital plan, and you'll see that listed in the introductory letter. From there, I'm going to go just one page. I'm going to go to page 9, the next page, and you can see the spike in activity in the year 21, 22. That's when the wastewater treatment plant is scheduled to hit, so that will be a lot of activity. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to review the 3 new projects that are being introduced this year. So for that, I'm going to go to page 15.
1-5?
1-5. The 3 new projects this year, one in the water department, water meter changeout program, and then 2 in the golf program. We're going to irrigation system replacement and a veranda resurfacing and furniture. So first we're going to go to the water project. That's going to be on page 32. So the water project is going to start in the year 22-23. It's going to last for 3 years. It's going to be a total of $3 million, and that's going to be paid for out of the water fund. And for the description, I'm going to turn it over to Dan.
Meters, the last time we changed meters was in the early 2000s, and they typically have about a 20-year life, so that's why we're looking at this 5-year program that we're going to have to start doing that. What we're proposing to do with this change-out is turn it into a fixed network or cellular network, where right now when we go and read meters, we have piece of equipment that we put in a truck, and the guys have to drive pretty much all the streets to be able to collect the reads. A fixed network or cellular network allows us to avoid having to drive all the streets, and we're actually always getting that data. The fixed network is typically, they would use like our cell tower or our water towers to put up antennas, and you make sure you cover the entire village, and those signals would come from the meters to those and then back to finance and public works, so we can read those meters at any time. The cellular, you don't have the upfront cost of putting up antennas up on the towers. It's more on a cellular rental fee. You pay for cellular service, and all the meters would have that, and same thing, you would be able to read those meters at any time. As technology goes, you know, it's changing all the time. 3 years from now, 3-4 years from now, likely will change more, so we'll be evaluating to see which system is the best at that time, and we would bring that back to you. But with that fixed network, it saves manpower as far as guys having to drive. That usually takes a couple days to be able to do that. We also have roughly 1,500 final meter reads from people leaving in that. We have to send guys out to do that. Finance would be able to just look it up right away. The big advantage with that is, and I'm sure some of you have dealt with it, but we get stuck toilets or whatever where people get hit with a big water bill. So then we start reviewing what happened. Typically, they have a water leak somewhere, and it went through the meters, so they're hit with this big bill. We can, with the fixed network, we can put alerts on our system that if a water meter runs continuously for X amount of hours, it can send us an alert and say, hey, you might want to check that one out. They might have a leak, because typically you're not running water at 2 in the morning or whatever. And if it runs the entire 24-hour period, it would send us an alert. We can get a hold of that resident and say, hey, you need to check because you're continually running water. So that's a big advantage that we would be able to accomplish with that as well. So that's the main thing, is the meters are coming to the end of their life, so we need to start looking at that. But it's still a few years out.
Just reading other municipal budgets, some municipalities have it where a resident can pick up their phone and they can see how much water they actually used that day. And they can actually get the alert on their phone if their water meter is running.
Yes, that system would be able to be set up where you could give access
Is
to
that kind of what you're looking at?
Yeah. So the alert would come to us and to them.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
Pretty cool.
Okay, the next new project is on page 74. That's the irrigation system.
7-4.
7-4. The engineering study phase would be in the year 21-22. The construction is planned for 22-23. This would be funded, normally these kind of projects are funded out of our developer deposits fund. With that, I'm going to turn that over to Kevin.
Okay, I know that's a pretty big nut to swallow here, but and I can't sell this as a salesman because I'm not a salesman. I'm a grass grower, and the number one tool in my arsenal to have a successful golf course from an agronomic standpoint is water. Can't grow grass without it, and our irrigation system is currently 21 years old. Our current system, it fails regularly. As a matter of fact, October 6th this year, we just had a 3-inch main break that required some immediate attention. That happens, I'd like to say, we've had 3 of those in the last 3 years where a good-sized line has failed and certainly taken a hole or 2 out of service, and we have to make those repairs. It's, according to the USGA, our irrigation system is life expectancy is 10 to 30 years. The big fluctuation in that is geographical area. Down south, they don't last as long because they're using them 12 months out of the year. Ours is only used 7 months out of the year. But we do have freeze-thaw cycles and whatnot, which weakens the plastic pipe, and so we have other issues that they don't have to contend with. But so in our area, it's really 20 to 25 years. I'm just, Paula asked me, she says, what would you like or what would you need for the next 5 years? And I said, this is the one thing that at some point we need to address this issue. So, any questions?
You said that the current system is 21 years old,
Yes.
and with the new system that we're anticipating using, what would be the life expectancy of that?
It would be in the same range, another
range.
20 to 25 years. This price does not include our pump station. Our pump station was done 10 years after the original system was put in. So I'm anticipating that to last another 10 years after this is going to happen. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Ready to move on to the next, we'll move on to the next one, 2 pages. 2 pages, this is the veranda resurfacing and outdoor furniture. This is scheduled for,
What page are you on, Todd?
this is, I'm sorry, page 76, 2 pages down, 76. This is scheduled for the coming year, 2021 year. $40,000 is the estimated amount, and it would be funded from the municipal building fund.
This project is in 2 phases. The first one would be resurfacing the surface on the north and south verandas. The current surface is peeling, it's cracked, water has gotten underneath, and it's causing some certainly issues. It had some staining issues from rust that we can't clean, and it's just overall becoming very unsightly. And when you're trying to promote weddings and whatnot, and a bride wants to have an outside wedding, it's one of the first things they see, and it's the appearance is everything, and unfortunately, it doesn't look good right now. The other phase would be changing all the tables, the outside tables and chairs that are currently, and we would not go with the wrought iron grate tables. It'd be, I'm not sure what the product, that'd be like a rubber sole, but they wouldn't, and part of the problem with the rust is coming from those tables, so we would not want to reintroduce that to a new surface.
Is this the front veranda and the back?
Yeah, both sides, actually.
Seems like an awful lot of money to redo the veranda. Have we gotten quotes, or is this just an estimate?
This is an estimate, and this surface that he's pricing out is more similar to what the original one was when the clubhouse was first built.
Okay.
One of the important things is that one veranda is where we host the outdoor weddings on that space, and of course, the outdoor seating, both for the course itself and for the banquet facility. We've seen a 25% increase in our banquets, and we want to keep that growth going. And we're attracting larger, more higher revenue weddings, and we want our facility to match that.
Good. Okay, I'm going to take us back to page 17.
You were done. You only had 3, you said.
Yep. This-
You're on a time limit
17.
here.
I'm wrapping it up. I'm going back to page 17 to wrap it up. This is the 2021 year. It shows,
Pardon me, Todd. Say it again. What page are you on?
17.
17.
Right.
Can't hear you.
Todd, I was listening.
Okay, thank you.
Intently.
You're right. Now I can't. I found it, but I can't see it.
Right. This is the page that lists all of the projects that will be in the current year that we are proposing to have approved. Part of the advantage of having a capital improvement plan is it gives Public Works the opportunity to start working on these projects before the fiscal year budget is passed in April. As far as the MFT program, the water main replacement program, other programs like that need to be set up so that the work can start right away in the summer. But again, the total is $15,703,580. And you can see the list of the projects is there on the page. So if there are questions, we'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we will bring this to the next board meeting to be approved as far as the capital improvement plan to be rolled into the operating budget.
If I can make a comment about this, simply under the bike path maintenance. It's not a lot. I mean, could we stand to have more, Dan, in other words, for the bike path maintenance? We got a lot of bike paths, and 40,000 when it comes to asphalt doesn't go very far. So I'm just curious of whether that would be something we should be looking at financing with more,
Right.
funds.
I would agree if we were contracting it all out, that wouldn't go very far, but we've been successful in having our crews do some of that work, so it's going a lot further. There are some areas where our crews really aren't geared to be able to do, like, there's that stretch that was actually on this year's budget by Centennial School that crosses the creek.
Right.
We didn't really have the equipment to do that. We ran out of time this fall, so we're hoping to get it, probably it'll end up rolling into next summer to avoid school period, but, so it's sections like that, but next year we're planning to just use our crews, so I think we're good. We're gonna talk to the Park District again and see what they can contribute towards that as well. They've been contributing about 10,000. We always are asking for more if we can get it. So for now, we're able to get some stuff done, so.
All right.
You know, in capital, before we leave this, I would really like, at some point in the next year or two, get some type of an estimate of what it would cost to do something similar to the crossing over 59 that they have down south of St. Andrews. Does everybody understand what I'm saying?
Bike path.
Yeah, I'd like to start that conversation and at least get some idea of what the cost would be.
They just did that one on County Farm, so we could get a number.
Yeah, yeah. I think that would be such,
Good idea.
we
People
need
on
to
the
start
west side of
talking.
town would sure appreciate it, I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah. Even if it wasn't at Stearns, if it was even somewhere. But let's start that conversation.
I think the only thing I want to talk about is the sewer system.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm shocked.
I know we've talked a lot about I&I, but we really haven't dealt with it. We've lined our sewers, but it hasn't really reduced our I&I. And I know from our meetings, we've talked about the lateral sewers are the culprit. So I see we have a 50-50 program in here, not to exceed $5,000. I think we should be more aggressive with this. I think it should be $5,000 and then 50-50 after that. I think after the first year, we can see what happens. Let's see if we get some traction. I know on the overhead sewer program, it's been slow going because it's been a 50-50, and I think this is something that could really get homeowners to actually look at it.
Yeah, we've been talking to communities and trying to figure out what people are doing. We talked quite a bit with Naperville, and one of the things that they're working on, and they've been doing it for quite a while now, when they go through and they do lining of their mains, then they come in and do lining of the manholes, and then they'll do the services. And what they're doing on the services at 100% village cost is lining of the service from the main into the right, or past the right of way, basically getting it into the private property, which what they're finding is that gets you away from any of the storm sewer connections, crossings, and all that stuff. It gets you out into a yard where there's typically not much going on other than groundwater. And by going that far from the main, you're hopefully coming up and getting out of any type of water table. They've seen, for the most part, good success on that end. So we were looking at we just actually met with our lining contractor that's going to get started up in the next few weeks. They do lining of services and grouting of services, which is another thing that Naperville does. And we're actually going to pick, when they're doing the area west of Oak, north of the tracks, south of Morse, basically. They're pretty much doing that area, lining the mains. While they're there, they're going to clean and televise. So we'll see where some of the bad services are. We're going to have them do some of them so we could start to see what improvements we can see from that. And then from there, I agree, kind of expand from that and go back to the area east of Oak that we've already lined and done a lot of the manholes and start hitting those services.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to something like that if you limited it. You know, if so what you're just discussing and trying to figure out doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, maybe as an incentive, hey, the first 10 homes that do this, we're going to pay the first $5,000 or something and just see if anybody jumps at it.
Right.
Yeah, maybe give some thought to this, so when we bring it back to the board, we can kick some other stuff around.
Yeah. Anybody else? Well, I guess it's not my committee. I finished?
No, that's it. Mr. President, that's all we have.
All right. I will entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session.
So moved.
Discuss sale of village-owned property pursuant to Section 2C6 of the Open Meetings Act.
So moved.
Moved by trustee Kammer, seconded by trustee Carbonaro. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kammer?
Yes.
Carbonaro?
Yes.
DEYNE?
Yes.
Cabrera?
Yes.
Hopkins?
We are adjourned to executive